Have you ever had that specific sinking feeling? Maybe it's 3 in the morning and you're just staring at the ceiling.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Or maybe it's right in the middle of a chaotic Tuesday morning where you feel like you're trying to build a house, but you have absolutely no idea how gravity works.
That is a terrifyingly specific image. But yeah, I think most of us know it well.
It's real, right? You have the bricks, you have the wood, you have the desire to build this massive, beautiful life. You're doing the work,
You're putting in the hours.
but you don't actually know the physics of the environment you're building in. You're just
Ugh.
guessing.
Oh,
And because you're guessing, things keep collapsing.
right. You fix one wall, the roof caves in.
Hmm.
You fix the roof, the foundation cracks. It feels like you're just fighting the world.
It's the feeling of playing a really complicated game where nobody handed you the rule book.
We're all just reacting. I mean, we're thrown into existence and we spend, what, 40, 50, or 80 years just reacting to things, trying to figure out the mechanics of it all by a trial and error. A lot of error.
Exactly. We're reaction machines. And that brings us to why we're here today. We're pulling apart a very strange, very profound little book from the early 20th century called the Kybalion.
And before anyone rolls their eyes and thinks we're going into, crystal ball territory,
Right.
we need to be really clear about what this book is and what it isn't.
So what are we looking at?
So the Kybalion was published in 1908 by 3 anonymous authors. They called themselves the Three Initiates. And while it's wrapped in this kind of shroud of mystery and claims to be ancient wisdom, we're not looking at it today as some dusty artifact.
We're looking at it as a user manual.
A user manual for the mind. Precisely. Think of it as the source code for your psychological operating system. We're here to look at the map of reality. Because, and this is the whole point of our conversation today, before you can change the territory, you have to understand the map.
If this episode helps you, please hit like and subscribe for the next one.
It really does help us keep the lights on in the research room.
The map before the territory.
So let's talk about that distinction. The map versus the territory. Why start here? Why not start with, how to get rich or how to be happy?
That is the classic self-help trap, isn't it? Jumping straight to the hacks.
Right. Everyone wants the shortcut.
And the Kybalion just flat out rejects that. It starts with these 7 heavy, abstract principles. And the reason is simple. Hacks are techniques. Principles are mechanics.
Okay, what's the difference?
It's like trying to bake a cake. Following a recipe is a technique. But if you don't understand how heat works or how baking powder reacts with acid, that's the principle, then the moment your oven breaks or you run out of an ingredient, you're completely lost.
You can't improvise because you don't understand the physics of the kitchen.
Exactly. The text refers to a master key. Now, usually when people hear master key, they think of a cheat code.
Right, like a magic wand.
They think, I wave this and my problems vanish. That is not what this is. A key is a mechanical tool. You still have to insert it, you still have to turn it, you still have to walk through the door yourself.
The text says something pretty dramatic, like the doors of the temple flying open.
Right. But in this context, the temple is the temple of understanding. It's about mental architecture. You understand the laws of gravity. You don't get mad when you drop a cup and it breaks. You understand why it happened.
You stop fighting reality.
You stop fighting reality and you start leveraging it. It's about moving from a state of confusion to a state of clarity.
So let's leverage it. We're going to walk through these 7 principles. And I want to challenge us to strip away the old, archaic language and get right to it. How does this apply to the person stuck in traffic? Or the person dealing with a breakup? Let's start with the big one. Principle number 1.
The principle of mentalism.
The all is mind, the universe is mental.
This is the foundation. If you don't get this one, the rest of the book, it just makes no sense at all.
Mind is the container.
Okay, hold on. We need to parse this immediately because when I hear the universe is mental, my brain goes straight to science fiction. I think, okay, so this table isn't real. The coffee I'm drinking is just code. Is that what we're talking about?
No, and that is the most common and, frankly, dangerous misunderstanding of this principle. It is not saying that the physical world is a hallucination. If you punch a wall, your hand will break. That wall is very real to your sensory experience. It has density. It has mass.
So what does the universe is mental actually mean in a practical sense for me right now?
It means that the substantial reality, the underlying fabric that gives rise to the physical world, is mental in nature. But for us, sitting here trying to navigate life, it means that everything you experience is filtered through, shaped by, and ultimately defined by your mind.
The mind is the container.
The mind is the container and the interface. Think about the Stoics. Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they were obsessed with this. Epictetus said, Men are not disturbed by things, but by the views which they take of them. That is the principle of mentalism in a nutshell.
So the event is neutral. The experience is mental.
Let's look at a concrete example. Public speaking. For person A, standing on a stage is a physiological thrill. Their heart beats fast, they feel sharp, they feel alive. It's a peak experience.
Right.
For person B, the exact same environment, the stage, the lights, the crowd, is a death sentence. They're sweating, they're terrified, they are in hell.
The physical reality is identical.
Mm.
The mental reality is the polar opposite.
Exactly. So if the universe is mental, it implies that changing your mind isn't just a mood adjustment. It's not just looking on the bright side. It is shifting the foundational reality of your life. You're changing the operating system itself.
That connects to that concept in cognitive science, the
Yeah.
reticular activating system, right?
Yeah.
Where your brain is filtering millions of bits of data and you only see what your mind is programmed to look for.
That is a perfect connection. If your mental setting is the world is hostile, your brain will literally scan the environment for threats and it will ignore acts of kindness. You will live in a hostile universe.
And if your setting is the world is full of opportunity,
You'll miss the insults and see the open doors. You are literally projecting the world you live in.
that's empowering, but also kind of terrifying. It means we have no one to blame for our experience of the world but ourselves.
It's ultimate responsibility. You're the projector, not just the audience.
Okay, let's move to the second layer of the map. Principle number 2, correspondence.
As above, so below. As below, so above.
I feel like I see this on tattoo sleeves and Instagram bios constantly, but I suspect most people think it just means, heaven and earth or something religious.
It certainly has those roots, but in the context of a user manual for the mind, it's all about patterns. It's really the theory of systems thinking. It's the idea that the laws of reality repeat themselves across different scales.
Like fractals.
Fractals are the perfect modern scientific analogy. If you look at the coastline of a country from a satellite, it's jagged and irregular. If you zoom in to a 1-mile stretch, it's jagged and irregular in the exact same way.
And if you zoom in to a single pebble, the pattern holds.
The pattern holds. The micro reflects the macro.
So if I'm understanding this right, it means I can understand things I don't know by looking at things I do know.
Precisely. The unknown is scary. We don't know how to fix our entire life or our career trajectory. Those are big, abstract, macro concepts.
Right, they're overwhelming.
But we do know how we handle our morning routine. We know how we handle a single email.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
That's the cliche, but it's fundamentally true. If your car is filled with trash and you're constantly running 5 minutes late, I don't need to see your business plan to know that your company is probably disorganized and reactive.
That stings a little bit.
It should, but it's also the solution. If as below, so above is true, then you don't have to fix the whole world. You don't have to fix your life with a capital L. You just have to fix the below.
You organize the drawer.
You organize the drawer. You fix the morning routine. You discipline the small thought. And inevitably, the pattern scales up. You change the fractal at the bottom, and the picture changes at the top.
You use the visible to influence the invisible.
That's it.
All right, let's keep climbing. Principle number 3, vibration.
Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates.
Movement is constant.
This one feels like the moment where ancient mysticism and modern quantum physics actually high-five.
It really is. For thousands of years, mystics said everything is energy. And then in the last century, physicists opened up the atom and found, well, mostly nothing. Just energy vibrating at different frequencies. That solid oak desk you're leaning on, it's 99% empty space and buzzing electrons.
But here's where we need to be really careful. In the self-help world, vibration has been hijacked. It's become code for good vibes only.
Ugh.
Raise your vibration usually just means force yourself to smile.
I am so glad you brought that up, because that is such a shallow and unhelpful interpretation. In the Hermetic sense, vibration is about state and rate. It is a mechanical description, not a moral one.
Explain that.
Think about water. Ice is water vibrating at a very slow rate. Steam is water vibrating at a very high rate. They're the same substance, just different vibrations. Now apply that to the mind. Anxiety is a vibration. It's high, chaotic, rapid. Lethargy or depression is often a low, heavy, slow vibration.
So it's not about good or bad, it's about the frequency.
It's about physics. The key insight of this principle is that you cannot stop the movement. Stagnation is an illusion. Even when you're stuck on the couch, your mind is worrying, your cells are dying and regenerating. You can't hit pause.
You can't stop the car, but you can shift gears.
Exactly. You can change the rate of vibration. This is what we call state regulation in psychology.
Mm.
If you're in a state of high vibration anxiety, you can't just slam the brakes and be calm. The gap is too wide.
It doesn't work.
It never works. But you can shift that high vibration into a different high vibration like excitement or focus. You manage the energy. You don't suppress it.
You transmute it.
You transmute it. Which leads us perfectly into the next principle because this is the tool for how you do that.
Principle number 4, polarity.
Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites.
Slide the dial.
Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. This is the one that usually breaks people's brains a little bit. The idea that hot and cold are not two different things.
They're not. Look at a thermometer. Show me exactly where hot stops and cold begins. There's no line. It's just a sliding scale of thermal energy. Cold is just the absence of heat. They are the same thing, temperature, at different degrees.
And the book claims this applies to mental states. Love and hate. Fear and courage.
This is maybe the most practical tool for emotional intelligence in the whole book. We tend to think of fear and courage as enemies, like we have to kill the fear to build the courage.
You have to get rid of one to have the other.
But polarity says, no, they're the same energy. They're both anticipatory states about the future.
Wait, break that down. How are they the same?
Fear is the anticipation of a negative outcome. It's a hyper-focus on what could go wrong. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the anticipation of your ability to handle the outcome. It's a focus on, I can do this.
So they both require intense focus and energy.
Yes. Indifference is the opposite of both.
So if I'm terrified of a presentation, I shouldn't try to be calm.
It's very hard to go from fear, which is west, to calm, which is north. They're different dimensions. But it's very easy to go from fear to excitement because they're on the same line. You just slide the dial.
So you take that adrenaline.
You take that adrenaline, the shaking hands, the racing heart, and you reframe it. You say, my body's getting ready to perform. You don't kill the energy. You polarize it.
That is mental alchemy.
That's the term. You're turning lead into gold. You're not denying the cold. You're adding heat. You're not denying the fear. You're adding competence and reframing the narrative around it.
I love that visual of the sliding dial. It feels so much more manageable than exercising my demons. Just slide the dial. Okay, principle number 5. This one is for anyone who feels like they are on an emotional roller coaster. The principle of rhythm.
Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides.
Respect the cycles.
The pendulum.
This is the reality check. We live in a culture that demands linear growth. We want our bank accounts, our happiness, our productivity to go up and to the right forever in a straight line.
And if we have a bad day, we think we're broken or we failed.
Right. But the principle of rhythm says that is impossible. It violates the laws of nature. Night follows day. Winter follows summer. Exhale follows inhale. You cannot inhale forever. You will pass out.
It sounds a lot like Ecclesiastes, a time to plant and a time to uproot.
It's the exact same wisdom. The pendulum must swing back. If you swing hard toward excitement and overwork, you will inevitably swing back toward fatigue and rest. The crash is not a failure, it is the cost of the high.
So are we just victims? Are we just getting smacked back and forth by this pendulum forever? Is that it?
No. This is where the Hermeticists get clever. They talk about the law of neutralization. Imagine a pendulum swinging. Down the bottom of the arc, the movement is violent. It swings wide left, then wide right. But if you climb up the string...
Near the pivot point.
Exactly. Near the pivot point, the movement is barely perceptible. The pendulum is still swinging, but you are not moving as much. This is about raising your perspective.
So when the mood crashes, you don't crash with it.
You dissociate your identity from the mood.
Right.
You feel the energy drop. And instead of saying, I'm depressed, my life is over, you say, here's the ebb tide. Here is the winter. You treat it like a season. You don't panic when the sun goes down because you know it will rise.
You stay steady.
You stay steady. It's stability over intensity. That feels like the antidote to burnout.
It really is. Burnout is just someone trying to force a permanent summer and refusing to let winter happen until their body forces it on them. Moving on to principle number 6, cause and effect.
Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause.
Be the cause.
The text gets a little sassy here. It says, chance is just a name for a law we do not recognize yet.
Nothing happens by accident. Now, people get hung up on determinism here, but the application is all about agency. Most people live their lives as effects. They're the effect of the economy, the effect of their spouse's bad mood, the effect of the algorithm.
They are the pawns on the chessboard.
Correct. They're being moved. The goal of understanding this map is to become a cause, to become a player.
This sounds exactly like the locus of control in psychology.
It's the same idea. An internal locus of control means you believe you can influence outcomes. But let's get practical. How do you stop being an effect?
Yeah, how?
You use what psychologists call implementation intentions. You plan your causes, you interrupt the chain of automatic reactions.
We'll interrupt the chain.
Right. If you wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone, you are an effect. The world is pouring into your brain and dictating your mood for the day.
Been there.
But if you wake up and you don't touch the phone for 30 minutes because you decided the night before to write in a journal, you are a cause. You have inserted a conscious action into the chain of reality.
You stop being a thermometer that just reflects the temperature of the room.
And you become a thermostat that sets the temperature.
I love that analogy. The victim is a thermometer. The master is a thermostat.
How is it?
Okay, the final one, principle number 7. The principle of gender.
Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles.
Balance to create.
We need to navigate this one carefully. In this day and age, gender is a loaded word with a lot of cultural weight. But the book isn't talking about biology or social politics, is it?
No, not at all. And we have to strip that baggage away to understand this. Think of it as generative energy. The text frames this as the difference between will and impression, the energies required to create something.
Okay, I can work with that.
The masculine principle in this framework is the energy of projection. It's the seed. It's the let's do this energy. It's aggressive, penetrative, and directional.
And the feminine principle.
That's the energy of reception, incubation, and generation. It's the soil. It takes the seed and nurtures it.
And the point is that you need both to create anything.
You absolutely need both. Look at the creative process. If you have only the aggressive push, the masculine, I have an idea.
Yeah.
But you have no patience, no ability to sit with it, no incubation. The feminine, then nothing ever grows.
You just have scattered seeds on concrete.
Exactly. But if you only have the dreaming and the incubation.
And you have analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Beautiful dreams that never manifest because there's no will to push them out into the world.
Right. So mental creation, whether it's writing a book, building a business, or changing a habit, requires a marriage of these two energies within your own mind.
Balance to create.
That's the key. You must be able to push, and you must be able to nurture.
Okay, so we have the map. We've unfolded it. We see the mountains and the rivers. But a map is useless if you just keep it folded in the glove compartment. We need to drive the car.
Let's drive.
I want to look at 3 very grounded, high-stress scenarios, real-life stuff, and see how we apply these principles. Because if this doesn't work on a Tuesday afternoon, it's useless.
Agreed. Give me a scenario.
Scenario 1, the work crisis. You're facing a high-pressure deadline. The project is falling apart. Your inbox is exploding. You feel that physical panic rising, the tight chest, the shallow breathing.
Okay, we've all been there.
Usually you just freak out and start typing furiously. How do we apply the map?
Okay, we need a triage of principles here. We're going to use mentalism and cause and effect.
Yeah.
First, mentalism. You have to pause. You have to recognize that the chaos is largely a mental construct. The emails are just data. The deadline is just a date. The feeling of being overwhelmed is your mind's reaction, not the facts themselves.
So you stop the spin. You separate the event from your judgment of the event.
You stop the spin. You realize, I am the container. Then you switch to cause and effect. Right now, you're spinning because you're being an effect of the incoming emails. You're reacting. You need to become a cause.
How?
You shrink the world. You say, I cannot fix the whole project right now, but I can draft this one paragraph. That is a cause I can initiate. You stop being the thermometer reacting to the heat. You set the thermostat.
You move from being a victim of the storm to being the eye of the storm.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You reclaim agency, one small cause at a time.
I like that. Okay, scenario 2. Relationships. You're in heated argument with your partner. You're both angry. Voices are raised. It's getting ugly.
Oh yeah, the danger zone.
How do we use the map here?
This is a perfect time for polarity. Right now, the dial is cranked to anger. The vibration is intense. The mistake people make is trying to just stop fighting. They try to go from boiling water to ice in a second. It does not work. The energy is too high.
So what do you do?
You use the art of polarization. You recognize that this anger is actually just polarized passion. You're fighting because you care. If you didn't care, you'd be indifferent. You wouldn't be yelling. You'd be scrolling on your phone.
So you validate the intensity.
Yes, you slide the dial. You look at them and say something like, look, we are both incredibly heated right now because this matters to us. We both care about this, and that's why we're so upset.
Whoa. That totally flips the script.
It takes that same energy, that same focus, and it shifts it from we are fighting against each other to we are fighting for the relationship. You haven't lowered the energy. You've just polarized it from destructive to constructive.
You keep the heat, but you change the direction. That's powerful. Okay, scenario 3, the broken habit. The classic New Year's resolution failure. You start a new gym routine, you go hard for 2 weeks.
Beast mode.
Beast mode. Then you miss a day, eat a pizza, feel like a failure, and quit entirely.
This is a failure to respect rhythm and vibration. You swung the pendulum way too hard. You went from sedentary extreme left to beast mode extreme right. The principle of rhythm says the pendulum must swing back.
The crash was inevitable.
It was mathematically guaranteed by the laws of your own psychology. The harder you push to the right over exertion, the harder the recoil to the left, exhaustion and quitting.
Stability over intensity.
So how do you fix it? How do you prevent that?
You focus on vibration on the state. You want stability over intensity. Instead of a violent swing, you want a steady, rhythmic pulse. Small, consistent inputs. You treat it like a tide coming in, not a tsunami.
And when you do miss a day, because you will.
You use the law of neutralization. You say, this is the ebb tide. The flow will return. You don't attach your identity to the rest day. You don't say, I'm a failure. You say, this is the winter of the cycle. Spring comes tomorrow. And then you just get back to it.
That is so much more sustainable than the go hard or go home mentality.
Go hard or go home is anti-Hermetic. It ignores the laws of nature, and nature always, always wins eventually.
Okay, we want to give you something to do today. A principle of the day exercise. Because philosophy without action is just entertainment.
Right. And we're not here just to entertain you. We want to
Right.
take these abstract ideas and make them usable, like, immediately. So here is a 5-step process you can do right now.
Step 1, selection. Just pick one principle we talked about. Maybe it's polarity, maybe it's cause and effect. Just one. Don't try to master the whole book today.
Let's say you pick cause and effect.
Step 2, translation. Write one sentence translating that principle into a behavior for you.
So for cause and effect, you might write, I will not complain about results today. I will look for the cause I created.
Simple enough. Step 3, proof action. Choose one small physical action that matches it.
If you're focusing on cause, your action might be, I will plan my morning the night before. That's a cause that sets up the effect of a good day.
Step 4, verbal phrase. Choose a phrase to speak to yourself when you get triggered.
Something short, like, I am the architect, or I am the cause.
And finally, step 5, trigger identification. Where do you usually lose control?
When I open my email, or when I hit traffic, identify the spot where you know you're going to need to use the map.
And then?
Then you just commit calmly. Don't force it. Just observe the principle at work. See if you can catch the gears turning in your own life.
Practice not perfect.
Practice not perfect. I love that. Before we wrap up, let's hit a few common misunderstandings, because this stuff is easy to get wrong.
Absolutely. Let's do a rapid-fire correction round.
Misunderstanding 1. Mentalism means the physical world is fake.
Correction. The physical world is real to your senses. Mentalism simply means it's shaped by the mind. The mind is the interface. Please, do not try to walk through walls.
Misunderstanding 2. Vibration means good vibes only.
Correction. Vibration is physics. High vibration isn't always happy. Anxiety is high vibration. It's about regulation and managing your state, not toxic positivity.
Misunderstanding 3. Polarity means ignoring the negative. Just look on the bright side.
Correction. You cannot ignore the cold. You have to add heat. It's about active transmutation. Acknowledging sadness is the first step to sliding the dial. Ignoring it just keeps you stuck there.
Misunderstanding 4. Rhythm means you're a victim of your moods.
Oh, well, I'm in a bad mood. It's just the rhythm.
Correction. That's just passivity. You can neutralize the effect. You let the mood swing, but you don't let it drive the car. You stay steady. You're the rock in the ocean, not the foam on the wave.
And finally, misunderstanding 5. Gender is about men and women.
Correction. It's about the energies of will and impression. Everyone has both. Everyone needs both. It is about internal balance, full stop.
So we have the map. Let's do a quick recap of what we're holding in our hands.
Okay, the big takeaways. Mind is the container of all experience. Patterns repeat from the small to the large, so fix the micro to fix the macro. Everything is in constant motion, so manage the rate, don't try to stop it.
Opposites are just degrees of the same thing, so slide the dial. Life moves in cycles and tides, so learn to respect the winter.
Nothing is chance. You can be a cause, so stop being a pawn.
And finally, creation requires balanced energy push and patience.
The map is yours.
The map is yours,
Yep.
but, and here's the cliffhanger, knowing the map is not the same as driving the car.
That's the big question, isn't it? Now that we know the terrain, how do we actually navigate it when the pressure's on? How do we actively change our own minds in the heat of the moment?
That is what we are covering next time. We're going to look at mental transmutation, how to actually change your state, not just your stuff, when the heat is turned all the way up.
It is the art of changing your own mind. It's the practical application of all of this.
You do not want to miss that. We really appreciate you giving us your time and attention today. We know you have a lot of choices, and it means a lot that you're here with us.
Thanks for being here. If you want the full series, check the playlist, and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.